Bank of America and Starbucks are teaming up on their loyalty programs. According to Chain Storage, Starbucks rewards members who are also Bank of America cardholders can link their accounts for additional benefits. Starbucks rewards members can earn 2% cash back on top of the rewards or card benefits they already receive on qualifying purchase, and one Starbucks reward star point per $2 spent at Starbucks when they link an eligible Bank of America debit or credit card with their Starbucks rewards account. This new program is open to currently enrolled Starbucks rewards members and Bank of America cardholders, as well as new members or cardholders. And Bank of America is offering it through its Bank AmeriDeals loyalty program. Cassie, that was a mouthful, but if you can make sense of what I just read, what do you think of this move, and what are your thoughts more broadly on credit card loyalty programs? Are they this untapped gold mine in the CPG retail media landscape?
Well, I will say I am a customer of both, and I have not added this deal yet. Maybe I will continue to think about this after, but I think when we're thinking about the Starbucks Bank of America deal, we have to think of what Starbucks is trying to get out of this. Are they trying to, I think I've seen some quotes saying they're trying to reward their loyal customers. Is that truly the drive there? Are they trying to bring back customers? I know we've seen a number of customers in the last, few months actually be leaving Starbucks to go elsewhere. Or is it a play to get them back? Or is it more of a play to make sure that everyone is actually using their rewards program and they're getting the data on their customers because they're using their app and they're making their orders through their that platform? What's the ultimate goal there? I think that the Starbucks rewards app has actually been a huge success. I think there's been huge year-over-year growth for the last few years. So we can't argue that, and they continue to bring on new users, which is ultimately going to improve their customer experience, get more data on them.
Yeah.
Is it actually driving more Starbucks customers? I'm not sure. I don't know if the incentive is enough to bring people on and to bring people back, to make people use their Bank of America card over that. The value of a star, I don't know if that's truly enough. And I think then that kind of goes to any of these type of programs that someone's trying to design. Is the incentive aligned to make it, enough of that hurdle for someone to go through the steps of linking their card? I think it's obviously going to be a great play to make sure you can learn more about your customers, but it has to be a good enough incentive for your customer to go through those and to get out of their normal, habits of how they would typically pay. So yeah. I don't think everyone needs to be running towards this, but I don't think it's a bad idea to, include it in as a program.
Cassie, I have to ask you, like, anecdotally, do you look for the deals on your credit card? Are the people like, is that something that you're like, all right, I'm going to add this to my Bank of America card? Are you familiar with the deals platform?
I'm familiar with a few. I think more so the ones you hear about, the ones that are like the better deals. I think maybe
Sure.
through friends or, online, someone might be, on Instagram or TikTok, you have some influencer saying that this is a great deal. But the ones that are truly not adding significient value, you're actually getting, a few dollar boost from it. I mean, I don't think most people are going through the time for that.
Yeah, makes sense. Joanna, how about you?
It is.
I know. Well, I have to. That's why I asked Cassie, because she's probably representative of the norm of people, not me. I know I'm very much on the outskirts here. Joanna, what about you? Do you go for the Bank of America AmeriDeals or other American Express deals? Like, where do you land on that and on this partnership between Bank of America and Starbucks?
Yeah, so I'm an Amex woman, so I am all about their deals. I will, cycle through and add those to the card frequently. So I'm kind of in Anne's camp on that one. I think that this wasn't, surprising that Starbucks is doing this. They seem to have a little bit of a gap given the Chase sunset, the Chase Starbucks reward Visa, I think last year. So they needed to sort of fill that. I believe, the fact that they've played in the space with credit cards, and I think they still have a deal with Delta Sky Miles.
Yeah.
So they're familiar with some of what could be pitfalls in terms of privacy data and concerns about that. But ultimately, there has to be a meaningful ROI here. And so I think, whether there's a little bit of gold here or it's a gold mine really depends on the execution and how well they're able to stand out given so many other loyalty programs that are out there.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you think, Joanna, like, look at what Starbucks did for mobile ordering. they could get people on the bandwagon for adding deals to the card, but is it, like Cassie's saying, is it enough? Is it worth it? Is it worth the time to make an impact here? But Chris, I know we've been covering this. We've just did an
Yeah.
interview that I'm sure you're going to talk about here. But what are your thoughts on this announcement this week? Seemed
Yeah.
very timely.
Yeah, I was excited to talk about this too, because I actually do think this whole idea is an untapped gold mine for the CPGs and the retail media networks. And the reason I say that is we've got a podcast dropping next week on Tuesday. It's a great podcast, everybody. It's with Tom Burgess of Snip Media. And so and what it tells us is that, and what we learned through that podcast, Ann, right, is like the CPGs haven't fully started targeting deals through these mobile banking interfaces. It's just not something that they're doing right now. And the reason that they probably will start to do that is, as Cassie mentioned, that the data is 100% attributable because of the credit card information, right? And so you can think about this in a whole host of ways. Like the CPGs can stand up deals, the retailers can partner with banks to kind of white label their retail media network offers as part of what the banks are offering through these loyalty apps in their programs. So I think it's going to have a lot of mileage here. And Starbucks is kind of doing that. They're kind of doing the old school way, but like it's an important topic to bring up because we're going to start to see more and more of this. And Ann, you like it as well, because as I learned on the podcast that we're kind of teasing it now too. You like it too because it's easier to use, right? Like
For sure.
you don't have to like take a picture of your receipt. You don't have to like go to another app. It just happens by default, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the real benefit here is, like Joanna said, I'm an American Express card holder too. And that's something that I'm checking constantly 3-4 times a week just to, get a picture of that. And those deals are right there. And if they apply to places that you routinely go, like a Starbucks, it makes sense for me to just be able to quickly add that. But then also, I think the other part of this is for the banks, it's a huge advantage, which Tom Burgess talked about in that as well, because top of wallet, now my reloadable card is always defaulting every single week to that Bank of America card, which is a huge benefit to the bank. So I think there's a lot of momentum behind this if they can get the customers on board and if they make it a decent value proposition for the consumers.